If something is free, here might be the product. Pokemon data trained AI that could assist military drones in war zones. Well, how did that happen? Location scans for the globally popular augmented reality game have helped train AI to recognize and interpret physical spaces. How curious. I mean, if you know a little bit about Ingress, it shouldn't be a surprise. A game model trained and data collected from users of Pokemon Go will potentially help military drones find their location in war zones. Pokemon Go, a 2016 augmented reality mobile game, allowed players to find and catch Pokemon in the real world using the cameras in their mobile phones. Exploding popularity. In 2018, the company reported having more than 800 million downloads worldwide. And that was after the 2016 craze, which is somewhat surprising. A 2021 update to the game introduced Pokestops, which give players in-game rewards for kind relocations using their devices. It requires users to opt in and upload the recording. Ah, so it's not the regular Pokestops. You get the location, you flip it, and you get some items. Interesting. Ah, jeez, why would they want to scan relocations? Yeah, I wonder why. Niantic, which created Pokemon Go, that's a nice typo, in partnership with Nintendo, collected users' location and scan data before the company sold its game division in 2025. The historical scans were used to train the company's AI models to recognize and interpret its faces in the physical world, as was reported by Drunk Excel this week. Niantic Spatial, speaking of company from Niantic, announced partnership with Vantor, a company that specializes in spatial detection software for drones, including those used by some militaries in December. And it's gonna be difficult to get out of this one, even though they're trying. The agreement is designed to allow drones to navigate and coordinate precisely in areas where GPS is not available. I can see the logic. Partnership addresses a critical vulnerability in military operations. GPS unavailability, spoofing, interference, and jamming. The announcement stated, when satellite signals are compromised, autonomous systems and field teams lose their ability to orient, coordinate, or maintain accurate situational awareness. Vantor's chief product officer, Peter Wilczynski, highlighted the benefits of the two companies working together in a December interview with Tectonic Defense. The modern battle space is going to be complete with different systems, and you're going to want to upgrade those systems quickly. Bringing new hardware online faster than new software, Wilczynski said. It is somewhat hilarious to me that every single time we see something has to do with AI, drones, whatever, used for the military, it's related to games. Truly, gamers will inherit the world at this rate. One can only hope. But the company stole guarding Australia, mate. The product scans from the game were not provided to Vantor as part of the partnership, but the scans from Pokemon Go were used to train Niantic's foundation models. So, in a technicality, it is correct. This has been used. So, we'll see how they try to get out of this one. Here, scans collected through Pokemon Go were submitted voluntarily by players who opted into the feature and were subject to the applicable terms of service and privacy policy at the time, the Niantic Special spokesperson said. Yeah, I know, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can do, well, it actually kinda means they can do whatever you want with the data, but I don't think that's implied. They're doing that because they get something in the game. Our gamers are stupid. Don't answer that one. I don't need to know. We all know the answer. Sad to say. But the company said the partnership was still in its early stages. Tom Solston, in the Policy for Tech Policy think tank Digital Rights Watch, said the use of civilian data for military was troubling. I mean, if it's not disclosed, yeah, it's a little bit, at the best, a gray area for sure. Let me have disclaimers in their terms and conditions. We know that most people don't read most legal documents when they want to play a video game, he said. And that's how they get you. You want to play this? Yeah, look at these terms and conditions. I'm not gonna read it. Cool! Now, I own your soul! That could happen. That could happen. But regulators focus on best interests of the user. Or a fair reasonable test to keep users safe from exploitation like this. While we're waiting for the government to catch up, it's important that we remember that free software services doesn't treat the users as the customer, but the product to be sold. Hey, didn't you say that? Happens all the time, to be fair. So it's somewhat pretty common. Dr. Rob Nichols, senior researcher associated at the University of Sydney Center for AI, Trust and Governance, said the case was likely the tip of the iceberg regarding data collected from apps being used for other purposes. It will happen every single time. You need to be really careful with the kind of data you have in the phone, even if it's just stored, okay? You don't know how easy is to break into phones and get the information. I've already seen that strap data has been used to identify the location of military facilities, said. And then the directives not to use devices with GPS and sharing have come from a number of different militaries. Announced in February, dealt with the US Army of up to 217 million USD for training software. The anti-Saudis video game division to Saudi Arabia owned Scopely for 3.5 billion USD in 2025. Surely, this will not have negative consequences for them going forward. The Arabians having access to this kind of training datasets. I bet nothing wrong will happen. Surely. Surely not. Of course, they deny all of this. Niantic especially denies Pokémon Go data is being shared with its own company. The company says no longer receives data from the monster catching app after Niantic was acquired by Scopely, but that's just trying to deny something we know is true. Sure, it was early, but it happened. Pokémon Go's history of being used to collect data is well documented, with the AR scans people generate while playing the game being used to build AI-powered map models. The players had to opt into the feature, may have expressed discomfort with the use of the monster taming game's in-app features to collect such data, and the discomfort escalated as it has come out that Niantic Spatial, a separate company that owns all the original scans following developer Niantic's acquisition by the Saudi-owned Scopely, entered into agreement with Venture, a provider of spatial intelligence that seeks to deliver a comprehensive precision solution that will enable air and ground platforms to navigate and coordinate precisely in GBA's denied environments. Every single time they keep using your data, and why do you think is something good? It never is. You should stop allowing your data to be used. And we know it's really difficult nowadays because, oh, what do? The smartphone is compromised, the computer is compromised, don't even start me on Google services. But you can always reduce the amount of information. And since this is updating, there's no excuse. There again, I bet they were getting some in-game rewards. Whoa, I get to sell my data and they give me a couple of Pokeballs. That seems good to me. Fools. Fools, all of them. They will sell their souls for the price of a cheeseburger. Without bacon. Panther has previously worked with defense and intelligence industries, and said the possible military application of technology that could be used to pilot drones, even when signals are jammed, is enough to make Pokémon Go fans wonder if the pictures they took of Pokestops could be used to assist in drone strikes. Panther has denied the Pokémon Go data was used in creation of the model, and Niantic Spatial has said that those Go scans were part of an early version of its own navigation model. So, was it used or not? They say no, but if the scans were an early version of the navigation model, it's scanned through they've been used for the model. Even if it was an old version. The new version, I bet, depends on the older version. Without the older version, you wouldn't have the new version. So, isn't this an admission by denial? Seems really strange. Crown and Wolf's Grant's reports on the matter are compiled by Tron Excel, asserted that a US defense contractor, Venture, is preparing to put the navigation model created with the help of the roughly 30 billion scans per have created while playing Pokémon Go into drones and other military robots. Reports have been going on viral on social media. I think that is incorrect there. So we're gonna reach out to Niantic Spatial for clarity in the situation, and the company released two statements claiming that the Pokémon Go data is not part of its agreement with Venture. Pokémon Go's data is not shared with Niantic Spatial, since the company was spun off following the Scopely acquisition. Okay, this is legalese. So, Pokémon data is not part of its agreement with Venture. This could be correct. That doesn't mean you're not using the data to train the models for it. And you say the Pokémon Go's data is not shared with Niantic Spatial, since the company was spun off following the Scopely acquisition. But you had data from before that, because this function, as we've seen, is from 2021, and the acquisition by Scopely was 2025. I think they're trying to tell you no, while the truth is that yes. Very strange, but it kind of makes sense. As part of Discovery, Pokemon Go data is not shared with Niantic Spatial. The company spokesperson said in a statement to Kotaku. Your scans collected through Pokemon Go were submitted voluntarily by players who opted into the feature and were subject to the applicable terms of service and privacy policy. At the time, the continuation of AR scanning and the end of data sharing with Niantic Spatial were part of the transition planning associated with Pokemon Go's move to Scopely. That doesn't mean you don't have data from before. Separate the statement, the company has explained scanning and models, while reiterating the Pokemon Go, as it exists right now, is not sharing data with Niantic Spatial. As it exists right now! What about before, since the data is from 2021 onwards, and the accusation is from 2025? I think they're clearly using this information for the drones, while trying to convince you otherwise, because it would be extremely bad PR for them. Shame. Very shameful. We have an agreement with vtuber announced last December. It is still in its very early stages, and sharing this data is not part of the agreement. Sharing this data is not part of the agreement, but if you use the data to train the model, technically you're using the data to train an AI model that will be used in the military. I hate legalists. I hate these people, they're so annoying. More reckoning and scanning NR models. Those scans were one compound to help train Niantic Spatial's real-world foundation models. AI systems that learn to recognize and interpret physical spaces. The models are the product of the training, not a copy of or a means of accessing the underlying scans. It doesn't matter. You're using the scans for the AI, which is what people are complaining about. There are public points of interest such as statues and fountains. Models are being used across a range of sectors to help AI understand and navigate the physical world. As part of Discovery, Pokemon Go data is not shared with Niantic Spatial. It doesn't matter, it's already too late. The model is already built on that data. If you feel any better about Niantic, as a subsidiary of Saudi government-owned Discovery, taking there from the game is another story. They are not lying. They are telling you the truth, and they expect you to get the wrong conclusions, because we are not actively sharing the data, and sharing the data was not an active part of the deal. That doesn't mean they don't have the data from before. That doesn't mean they're not using the data for the training model. They are doing that by the wrong admission. I mean, if you had another reason just to hate Pokemon Go and Niantic at this point, which I wouldn't even say this is the biggest one, but still, it will be a deal breaker for some for sure. I mean, let's be real. Saudi Arabia, really? Really? Is that the kind of people you want to give your data to? Better or worse than Google? No idea. Still not good. Pretty disgusting.